that just some perfectly hung curtains that just slightly kiss the ground. Thank you for joining me on the chair. My name is Destiny. Come back next week and I'll give you something else to learn. No. Thank you for thank you guys for joining. No. Thank y'all for watching the chair. Come back next week. Thank you guys for watching the chair. Come back next week. Nope. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching the chair. I'll see you guys next week. Nope. What is my closing line? Fuck. Hey y'all, welcome back to the chair. My name is Destiny with Classically Modern Interiors, and this is a space where we slow things down a bit, talk design, and get intentional about the spaces that we live in. However, today we're not going to be sitting. Today I'm going to show you guys how to properly measure your curtains so that they just very slightly kiss the floor. So this is going to give it a more elevated and modern feel. So just follow through the steps with me, and your curtains will look like they were hung by a professional. Come on. Okay, so for starters, let's talk about what we need to hang these curtains. So first we need a pencil so that we can mark where our brackets are going to go before we drill our holes. The first hole that you're going to drill is going to be used with your drill and these drill bits. So these drill bits are used to make a hole for this anchor, which you will then put the screw inside. So these anchors are super, super important because with a lot of these new builds and even like apartments, the drywall is very, very weak. And so over time, the weight of your curtains are going to pull your brackets out of the wall. These are going to keep your curtains from falling out of the wall and being loose. Okay, so then of course we need our drill. I don't know if you guys can see this line right here. So I use a laser. You don't have to. I just like to be very exact whenever I'm measuring. This just makes it to where whenever you're using your tape measure, you can follow that line and there's no like take or give on your measurements. You're going to know exactly how long your curtains need to be. Okay, so we of course need our tape measure and then we need a level. Okay, so when we're measuring, first things first, you're going to want to go as high as you can. This is going to give your room a taller look, but it's also just going to make your room feel so much more elevated and custom. And it's going to make your curtains look like they were hung by professionals, which is of course what we want. Whenever you hang your curtains just above the window, it just gives you that extra dead space. And it doesn't look as crisp as it does whenever you're going from ceiling to floor. So you measure the length, then you're also going to measure the width of the window. You're going to do this because before you order your curtain rods, you need to know how wide your curtain rods need to be. And my rule of thumb is to allow your brackets to go, I'd say 6 inches outside of the window. That way they cover more wall space. Now, depending on how much space, if you have like more space on each side of the window, like you can see here on mine, see I have the door right here on the other side of this window. So there's not a ton of space to really expand your curtains out, but you can really go out as far as you like. I think 6 to 8 inches is a good rule of thumb though. So that being said, let's get started with our measurements. So now you know how wide your rod needs to be. Get your rod ordered. Okay, then we're going to measure. And as you can see, these brackets are already up, but I'm just going to show you the process anyways. Okay, so measuring from 1.5 inches from the ceiling, following the laser line down. And again, you don't need to purchase a laser. It was a good investment for me because of course I'm a designer, and it makes my measurements more accurate. But I mean, you can kind of trust yourself. Like if it's over, you know, 1/4 inch on the measurements, you're going to be fine. It's still going to look really, really nice. Okay, so coming down the line, make sure we still got that at the top. Okay, so these curtains need to be 94 inches. Okay, so typically curtains are going to be sold at 93 inches. Like 93 inches is a typical length. You can find like random 92, 94s, but you really got to dig the web for them. My favorite places to get curtains for a really good price are Wayfair. It used to be called Overstock. Now Bed Bath & Beyond owns them. Also to mention, whenever you're measuring the width, not only is that for the size, the length of the rod that you're going to need to get, it's also going to tell you how many curtain panels you want. So say you have like a super long window that's like 6 feet long. If you get 2 curtain panels, which most sets will come 2 panels per set. If you get 2 curtain panels that are only 32 inches long or wide, that's not going to be wide enough. Whenever you try to close your curtains, you're going to have a big old gap. So then you know, okay, well, I have 6 feet, I have 64 inches of curtain panels. I need to get 4 panels to fill up that whole space. Okay, y'all, so now we're up on the ladder and we're by the brackets. So I'm going to show you how to hang your brackets. So you're going to want to use your level to make sure that your bracket is straight up and down. Okay, so we got our little bubble. It's right there in the middle. You can see right here it's lined up. Okay, and then you're going to take your pencil and you're going to draw 2 little circles where those screws are. Okay, and that's going to tell you where to take your drill bit and drill your hole. Okay, so now you've got your brackets in and it's time to get your curtains on the rod. So now, your rod is usually going to have a unscrewable thing to where you can just unscrew the end of it off so that you can get it through the holes. Okay, I just take one off, that way I can slide both of them on there. All right, and then you're going to just run your rod through these little holes. Also to say, you're going to want to buy curtains that have these little back, what are these called? These little back loops. I don't know what the proper name of them is, but this is going to give your curtains a more pleated and modern look versus you really want to stay away from the ones that have like those just like the holes with like the metal ring that looks kind of like a shower curtain. Those just downgrade your space immediately. So these or the pre-pleated curtains are going to be your best bet. Okay, so we got one on. We're going to do the other one. All right, now screw this in back on. All right, now it's time to get on the ladder and hang these bad boys. So be careful, don't step all on your curtains. Let's go. Okay, get them both on each side. Get up here very carefully. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So before you get down and get too excited, your curtain rods are going to have on the brackets, there's going to be a little pin that you need to turn clockwise to tighten so that your curtain rods aren't moving left to right whenever you're opening and closing your curtains. So you're just going to tighten that up. Make sure that the give on each end of the rod is equal on each side. So you don't want, like this has about 1/2 inch give on this side. I don't want to pull this one all the way out to where there's, 6 inches and it's uneven. So just make sure that your extra length over here is the same as the other side. Okay. Then we're going to tighten these up. Alrighty. Here we are. fluff out these pleats. All right, and there we have it, some perfectly hung curtains. They're just some perfectly hung curtains that just slightly kiss the ground. All right, y'all, thank you for watching the chair. Join me next week, pull up a chair, and we'll talk design and decor.